Throughout my years of being a Halloween fan, I've been asked one question probably more than any other when it comes to new viewers getting into the Halloween franchise. And that question is simply, is Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers really that bad? Hey, what's up everybody? Nick here, and today I want to talk to you guys about Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers, aka Halloween 6, for those of you that may not know where this fits in the timeline. Now, I'm not here to talk about whether or not I think this cut is better than that cut. No, this is not a review on the movie. No, this is simply me just answering the question of, is it really that bad? If so, why? If not, why not? So if you're a younger viewer to the Halloween franchise, I know this is an exciting time. I was there a long time ago myself, believe it or not. You're watching all these movies for the first time, you're falling in love with some, you're questioning others, and then you get to some and you go, what is this? That's how I was with Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers. So let me take you back to when I was a kid. Coming home from school in October, sitting in front of the TV and watching AMC's Fear Fest. Now, Fear Fest was something they would do every October, and it would just be horror movie after horror movie leading up to Halloween night. But a lot of those days would just be Halloween movies, the Michael Myers Halloween movies, one after another. They didn't own the rights to all of them, so the ones you saw on there the most were the original Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, Halloween 6. Those were the ones you would see the most. Well, believe it or not, as a 12-year-old, I hadn't seen Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers yet. I've told you guys before, Halloween 5 was the first one I ever saw, and I adored that movie. I loved Halloween 4, I loved Halloween and Halloween 2, and I remember coming home from school one day and turning on Fear Fest, and Halloween 5 was on, and I was like, I'm going to finish this. And if you remember the TV guide when you could look and you would see, oh wow, Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers is next? I've never seen this one. I'm excited. Well, much to my surprise at the time, as soon as the movie ended, I was like, holy crap, that was terrible. But with age comes wisdom. Yeah, I think the first time watching Halloween 6, I was just really shocked because it felt really different. You didn't have Danielle Harris there. It felt like everything that was left hanging at the end of 5 was dropped within the first 15 minutes, and we were in kind of a new story entirely. New characters, new setups, I just didn't really know how I felt about it. Then you got the advent of the cult and, constellations and all that, and I was like, this is just a little too much for me. Once that initial shock to the system wore off, by a year into seeing the movie, I grew to really love it. And now, as an adult, this is in my top half of the Halloween franchise ranking. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So to simply answer the question, no, it's not that bad. And here's why. First and foremost, I'm just going to say Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers is a marked improvement over 4 and 5 in multiple areas. The first being the mask and the portrayal of Michael Myers. Look, I'm not a hater of Halloween 5's Michael at all. I actually kind of like it, and I was scared by it when I was a kid. I have a soft spot for the Nick Cage mask. But let's not kid ourselves. The Curse mask is the best mask of this trilogy. And the portrayal of Michael Myers, while I love Don Shanks, he was very, very large, and it did not feel in line with Halloween 4. This feels much more in line with Michael Myers from the original and from Halloween 2. The mask is better, and Michael just has this aura in this movie, like he's not to be messed with. So I think unequivocally the performance and the mask are far better than the previous 2 movies in the Thorn trilogy specifically. And then furthermore, I think the atmosphere and the aesthetic just blows those 2 out of the water. Look, Halloween 4 we don't even really need to address. Aside from the opening sequence in that movie, there's little to no atmosphere in that film. There really isn't. A shot here and there, but a lot of it, as I said, feels like a made-for-TV movie. Halloween 5 has a lot more atmosphere, but it's very different. It's very unique. As I've talked about, Dominique Athanin-Girard was a French filmmaker, so the character that movie has, while there, is just very different. Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers feels and looks like it was shot on Halloween night, the entire movie. The desaturation of the colors, the use of the leaves, the gloominess, the rain, it feels like the Midwest in the fall. And as somebody that has lived in that area my entire life, I can tell you that when I watch Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers, I'm like, yes, this is what Halloween looks like in this area. It doesn't look like H2O. It doesn't look like Resurrection. It looks like Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers. And I just feel like with all the movies in this series, I would actually put Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers up there as probably the most atmospheric, the one that looks and feels the most like Halloween of all of them. Piggybacking off of what I said when it came to the mask and the portrayal, Michael is a demon in this movie. There's some great kills in this film. And like I said, I'm not going to get into the different cuts of the movie. If you're aware of them, great. If you're not, do some research or watch some of my earlier videos where I pitted both cuts up against each other and gave the pros and the cons. But I'm just going to say that some of the reshot footage, specifically in the theatrical version, really adds to that air of menace of Michael Myers. There is a sequence that happens in an operating room that will take your breath away. And if you're epileptic, you probably shouldn't watch it. I'm being dead serious because it is sensory overload. But it is incredible. It is Michael Myers in his purest form. That you hardly even see the man, and it's just carnage candy galore. And the movie has a lot of moments like that. There are signature kills littered throughout this movie. One scene after the next, there is a kill that you're going to remember. And on top of that, I would make the argument that Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers has some of the more suspenseful / scary scenes in this entire series. I specifically think to Beth's kill and how it's handled in the theatrical cut, how it is in slow motion and there's this distorted wailing playing while it's happening, how he comes out of nowhere. And let's just not forget to mention Tim's death right before that in the shower is really effective too. Look, say what you want about all the drama behind the scenes, all the reshoots, all the rewrites. They got Michael Myers, the kills, the atmosphere, and the scares right in this movie. They just did. Now, one thing that might not work for everybody, but worked for me as a child of the 90s, is the score. Now, yes, it is a take on the original score, but with a nice metal tinge. There is electric guitar littered throughout it. Sure, there's certain moments where it's just the piano theme, and then there's other moments where you get this wailing guitar, pinch harmonics out of nowhere, and you're like, what? But it kind of works because I grew up in that era, so I was like, yeah, this feels like my childhood. This rules. And I feel like if you're a fan of that style of music too, you're going to dig it. Like you're almost going to be like, this isn't my preferred score of the Halloween franchise, but like, I like this. This adds some character. And say what you will about any Halloween movie, because they all do little variations of the score, but when it really stands out, for good or bad, it's kind of unique and cool. Another thing that Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers does really well is it captures Haddonfield and all the characters well. See, this actually feels like a town that really wants nothing to do with Halloween. Whether you get moments of a radio show that's the most popular in town of people calling in talking about Michael Myers, talking about Halloween, how it's banned in Haddonfield. You get the college campus with the kids talking about it. You get the whole rally on Halloween night. It actually feels like a lived-in town a lot more. Sure, more could have been done. I'm not saying it's perfect, but compared to some previous entries in this series, it actually really does feel like a lived-in town that has been affected by what Michael Myers has done leading up to this. And then the characters in this movie. Look, I like them, okay? Mary Ann Hagen as Kara Strode, I like her. Sure, we're now at a point where we're talking about cousins through marriage, half-blood, whatever you want to talk about. Like, yeah, I get it. It gets a little ridiculous, but I like her, okay? I like her. Bradford English as John Strode is one of film's greatest asshole fathers. Period. Point blank. You're supposed to hate this guy. And if you walk away from this movie and say you didn't hate this guy, I think you're lying to yourself. He plays the role absolutely perfectly. He's funny, he's grimy, and his death is super memorable. Kim Darby's in here. She gives a really good performance. Donald Pleasance is back in a much more subdued role, and I actually think that was nice. While I liked him in Halloween 5, and I felt like it made total sense for his character, especially at that point in time, it's been 6 years now. Loomis had a stroke at the end of 5. Everybody believes that Michael Myers is either just gone or dead. You know, let's forget about it. Let's drop it. I like this portrayal of Loomis. I wish they would have given him more to do, but understand there were real world reasons why they couldn't. Donald's health was in really bad shape while filming this movie, and he actually passed away before the movie was even released. This was his last on-screen role. So although we didn't get as much of Loomis as we probably would have liked, I like this portrayal here. He's a lot more of the sage, old, like Gandalf character. Very wise, doesn't want to get into it, but he kind of has to. And then the one that everybody likes to talk about, Paul Rudd. Look, I'm sorry. I have heard so many people over the years that say Paul Rudd is so bad in this movie. I cannot disagree more with that. I simply can't. Paul Rudd was written to be this super awkward, super anxious, antisocial, shut-in kind of stalker. That's exactly what he is in this movie. He feels very weird. He feels very traumatized, like he doesn't know how to talk to people and he doesn't want to. He doesn't understand social situations or social cues at all. I think the role, the way it was written, you can have issues with that, but I think that Paul Rudd delivered it perfectly. I actually love this performance of Paul Rudd's, and I love that it's in his oeuvre and that like he can never get away from it. And recently he actually talked about it, and it kind of sucked because like a lot of these actors do, they look back on their early times in these horror movies and they kind of, oh yeah, that was bad. No, it wasn't, Paul. It's a good performance for what the character was asked to do. Yeah, whatever. Shut up. Take your Paul Rudd hate somewhere else. So look, all in all, what do you get here? Why is Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers not that bad? Well, because it's got a good Michael Myers, a good mask, a great atmosphere, a memorable score, great kills, a good supporting cast, and I don't know, it just kind of rules. Like you put all those things together and you're like, it kind of rules. Of course, there are story issues here, guys. Look, Daniel Farrens, we had him on the podcast a couple years ago, and it was great to pick his brain. He was trying to bridge all of the continuities into one. He wanted to pay homage to everything, keep everything canon, explain things that were dropped or just flat out not explained at all. He did what he could. He made up fantastical things to try to explain X, Y, Z. I understand it, and it was not an enviable task. But I actually think at the end of the day, it makes enough sense, even though it is fantastical, for you to go, you know what? Good for you. I applaud you for somehow stitching that into a story. Because he did, and I think he did it really well. And whether you prefer the theatrical or the producer's cut, I am a theatrical cut person. Because I feel like once they went way heavy into the cult stuff, that was a little too much for me. I didn't like some of the decisions. We'll just say that. If you know both cuts, you know why. But I think overall, Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers has a lot of redeeming qualities. And I'm sorry, but I cannot get behind anybody that thinks that this movie is worse than, at the very least, Halloween Resurrection. I just cannot do it. So in my opinion, is Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers that bad? No. It's actually kind of awesome. And I hope that you guys see it that way. And I hope that if you're a new fan getting into these movies, maybe you had a similar experience to me. Maybe you watched it the first time and you hated it. But maybe as time goes on, I hope that you start to open your eyes a little bit more to it and go, you know what? There are things here that I really like. Because Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers is that movie in the Halloween franchise. That movie that you can't really find its place. But I can tell you where it is for me. Right here. But I want to hear down below in the comment section what you guys think. Do you agree Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers is that bad? Or do you agree with me that no, it kind of rules, and I'm sick and tired of pretending that it doesn't? Whatever it is, I want to hear it down below from you. Please leave a like on this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I'm pulling out.